What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. I'm Charles Rome, and this is the Bi Friend Podcast because everybody needs a bi friend. This is a podcast where I'm going to sit and talk about my experiences, my feelings. I'm going to have some discussions about being a black bisexual male and how life is for me. You know, it changes for everybody, but these are going to be my experiences so far because life is wild, as we all very well know. Where you can find the podcast is going to be anywhere that you podcast every single Friday for the next 5 months. I'm also going to be on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So I'll post rants, I'll post pictures, comments, all types of things, all different places. You can join me there. And look, I'm doing this because it is time to get my story and my feelings out there into the open. I will say this, the easy part of this was getting everything together. It's going to be 22 episodes, 5 months. I have all of that squared away. It's ready. The hard part was starting to sit down and talk and come to the realization that, hey, this is life. It is what it is right now. So I'm going to be happy and I'm going to go through life happy. I'm also doing this to better understand what's going on around me in the LGBT community, and even a little more specifically, the bisexual community. And one of the bigger reasons I'm doing this is that maybe it helps someone, one person. You know, maybe not now, maybe in the long run, down the road, someone stumbles upon this and understands, hey, it's okay to be yourself. This person went on a podcast and put themselves out there, made themselves vulnerable to hopefully help someone else in the long run. It's a process that takes time. So you have to be ready to take a little time. And also, you have to understand that you are you and there's nothing you can do about it except be you. Hopefully, I can inspire someone to truly be themselves, which I am working on doing myself. And I understand that throughout this whole process, I'm going to lose some friends, I'm going to make some friends, and I'm going to grow stronger bonds with the friends that I have now. But in the end, I will have done something for myself. So I'm happy about this 100%. So let's really get this started. And like the title of the episode says, I'm me. There's no one like me. I am a bisexual black male. And I really wouldn't call myself gay per se, but, you know, I'll do some gay shit now and then. But yeah, for this whole podcast, all of it, you're going to get a unique perspective from a black guy who is bisexual that does not look the part, so to say. Because when you are dealt the hand at life that you're dealt, you have to just go with it. There's nothing else you can do except live. And that perspective, coming from a race that has been marginalized for years, and then coming from a sexuality group that's been marginalized for years, don't you think there's a little more stress on me to actually want to put this out into the universe? I could get hit from all sides by monstrous, hateful people. So, yeah, this is a big deal to me. I'm putting myself out there. Me knowing who I am and how I am. I don't want to be bothered from people making slick and sly comments. That's not my thing. This whole thing is a process. And one thing that I've noticed so far after talking to different people and confiding in friends, you have to do it over and over. That's something that I've noticed that has to happen right now. I have to essentially come out over and over. And I'm not going to say that it's been a bad experience, because it hasn't. It was a nerve-wracking experience when I went through and talked to all the friends that I have currently talked to. It just empowers me with positivity and love when I can talk to the people that I care about something that I care about. And for those people, I appreciate you so, so very much. And don't worry, I got a whole episode on friends and family and all that good stuff in the upcoming weeks. So get ready for that. I will say this. Being bisexual is a weird thing because you have an ability. You have an ability of invisibility. Because a lot of people don't believe that people can be bisexual. And I'm here to tell you that yes, the hell they can. Like I said before, I don't look gay. You know what they say, all that dumb stuff. I don't look the part. And it's because part of that invisibility is it's called straight passing. So I can blend in with any group and not be bothered. I'm not pss, pss, pss. I'm not doing all that. Silly. There's none of that. There's no spoken S's or anything like that. I mean, I don't give a shit. Don't worry. We'll get into all that craziness shortly. But if you saw me and, a few people that I've already talked to, they said, "Oh, really? I would have never guessed it. You don't look it." I've gotten that from a few people. Is it offensive? I don't take it that way because I understand what they are saying. If you saw me on the street, you would just be like, "Oh, that's a rough, gruff black dude." You wouldn't be like, "Oh, he's a bisexual." People don't believe in that. People don't believe bisexuality is real. They think it's a myth. They think you're confused. They think you just don't know what the hell is going on in the world. But surprise, newsflash, you do. I feel like you're bi representative right now. I feel like, hey, you got questions for me? I'll do my best to answer them. I'm going to have fun with this. I got 22 episodes of bisexuality. We're going to talk about it all. Next week, for that episode, I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to need to get some questions written down on Instagram. You'll go on Instagram, answer the question. I will talk about it on the next Friday episode. We'll do it like that. But look, I always knew I was different. Always. Even as a little kid, people are like, you don't know what's going on when you're young. You're just a kid. Yeah, that's the problem. You don't fucking know what's going on, but you know something is going on. And I've known every day of my life something was different. Something was just there. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it was there. Now, growing up, I grew up in a very masculine, my friends, my family, a normal household with some masculinity in it. It wasn't like I had 6 gay uncles and 7 gay aunts. It wasn't like that. It really wasn't. So you can't say, oh, he was influenced by this and that. Absolutely not. I knew something was different from the beginning. From like preschool, I knew. I knew. I hate when I see people say, oh, they don't know, they're just a kid. Dude, we're feeding off of some energy from the last time we were here. We have to figure shit out before we can get better. And that means we got to do this life over a few times. So I don't know how I was in the last version of myself, but this version, he likes men and women. And that's it. That's all. There's nothing to it. Sorry, not sorry. But growing up, I never pushed into doing crazy experimenting and all that. It was just weird growing up. And then I got older and I didn't think about guys as much anymore. And then I got to college and, I would think about guys and girls a little bit more. And I'm like, oh, there you are. I remember you when I was younger. And now it's back. And now it's here. And now I'm queer. It is what it is. And like I said at the beginning of this, I want to do this so that maybe someone hears this and they are inspired. They are given the confidence to be themselves. Because it is a crazy world out there and everybody wants you to be yourself, but nobody really wants you to be yourself. And that is a sad, sad thing. Because that's all we can do is be ourselves, right? I can't be you. You can't be me. So why are people worried about other shit that they have no control over? It's really, really sad. And even through all the craziness and all of the companies taking down all the LGBTQ stuff, you know what? It is what it is. People just don't understand, but don't pretend like we're not here. So we'll see. I know this is a wild time to be wanting to start a podcast like this, but guess what? There's no time like the current time. I was just thinking about when I was in maybe middle school, there was a movie that came out called In and Out. And I think it was, what was that, Kevin Kline? Yeah, Kevin Kline. And he was a teacher who got some award. And the guy that helped him get the award told everybody that he was gay. Now, growing up, I knew I wasn't gay because I still liked women. I still loved females. Still do. Okay? But that was one of my top movies. And I get it. I wondered why my grandmother would look at me crazy, like, why is he watching this shit? But I get it now. There was something calling me. And I mean, it was a good movie. Check, I think it's like from 1997. It's old. You know, the dude's about to get married. He gets an award on TV. The guy that gives him an award is like, yeah, I want to give this shout out to so-and-so, and he's gay. Everybody's like, oh my goodness. You know, Professor so-and-so is gay and he's about to get married. What's going on? And I think that was the movie that just made me think. I was like, something is going on, but I'm not gay. You know, not fully. You know, it's a percentage. It's not 100. And it's not like I've always watched gay things. It's not. That was something that happened later in life. And that, the only fault of that is the internet. The most dangerous place on earth. You think these other countries are crazy? Go ahead and take yourself on the internet. See what happens. All of it happens on the internet. But yeah, it's not even like I was, sneaking around watching gay porn growing up. No. I had that heterosexual shit. I got the people I like. But what I'm trying to say is, it was there. There was nothing I could do about it except move forward. And I'm going to do a whole episode on this, but I don't like, real masculine men. When I look at a guy, I don't want him to be all hairy and, gruff as I am. Even if it's a guy, I enjoy the femininity of that man. And like I said, we're going to get into everything over the next few weeks. But for me, some dude coming up to me saying he wants to rub beards. Now that's gay. So like I said, we'll get into that a little bit more. I got episodes on everything. I'm seriously going to touch a little bit on everything. So you're going to learn a lot about Charles, okay? You're going to learn a whole lot, baby. See, I never felt like I was performing in front of anyone. You hear stories, people are like, oh, I stopped doing this. I stopped, acting this way because you want to have a good impression for people. No, I don't care. I'm me. I'm doing the same thing that I've done before. And when all of this podcast hits, and my friends, I know people are going to hear about it. I know it. But do I care? No. What I want to know is, starting now, Friday, June 6th, 2025, I want to see how many friends I actually lose because of this podcast. And my friends don't have to like how I live my life, but I hope that they can respect how I live my life and that my life isn't going to interfere with theirs. And again, I'm not going to put on any fronts. I'm not going to be, try to be some sort of way. I'm going to continue to be me, the same person that I've been this entire time, and there will be no change, except maybe my friends. Yes, I have worried about that a little bit, to be honest, a little bit. But before I even did this podcast, I talked to quite a few of my friends that I cared to talk to, that I cared to put my business out there with. And I've got nothing but great, positive responses from them. And that is what I am talking about. Positivity. That's what this is. Have fun with it. Live your life. But again, I got a whole episode on friends and family and thanking them for being them. Let me tell you, society is trying to shape people in a certain way, and it sucks. You know, you're in the United States and you're like, oh, you can come here and be who you want to be. Yeah, as long as it doesn't piss off anybody else. It sucks, man. It really freaking sucks. You can't even just live your life. You know, but society has shaped me to want to protect those ones who are being abused and ridiculed. Because I know you look at me and you're like, I probably don't want to fight this guy. But I will definitely get aggressive for someone who won't get aggressive for themselves. Leave people alone. That's what I want to get through people's head. Let people live their lives, pay their bills, and not be stressed. Please. Thank you. And society has showed me that this is going to be rough because I'm putting myself out there as a black man and as a bisexual man. And as you know, people don't want to hear about that gay shit. But guess what? They are, because it's here and it's not going anywhere. But as I've grown up and watched the news and how people are acting, that is part of what made me want to get this podcast out now. Everything is getting canceled. Black History Month, Pride Month, all the months, anything that is extra, they're trying to cut that back. It is a sad, sad world we're living in. The government's not even trying to help us. It feels like it's trying to harm us. But all you can do is keep moving forward. There is nothing you can do other than that. I've been shown that even if you're minding your business, the world can be a cruel place. It's crazy. Someone will see a guy in a dress and be ready to run them over. They'll see two guys holding hands and be ready to crash out, knowing they got their own set of bills to deal with and that they need to probably take their ass to work. I'll never forget the first time that, I said something a little sus. And my grandmother was like, what? What in the world are you talking about? With a raised eyebrow. What did I do? I don't know. I was young. And you might say something some way and it kind of tips someone off. But talking with family members about this, I talked to my grandmother before she passed away. I've talked to my mother. I've talked to a good portion of friends. And those are kind of the first people that I had really, honestly, in my life, had talked to, my grandmother and my mother, at very separate times. But my grandmother knew something was up. She'd always be like, something, I can't put my finger on it, but something's going on with him. And hey, Grandma, you were right. You were right. And I'll never forget those conversations. Those were positive conversations that they told me to be happy with who you are and to be happy with who you find that you want to be with. And at the time, I really needed that positivity. And I'll never forget it. Those were the first people that were positive through everything, even though they didn't understand. They didn't try and beat me. They didn't try and put me in my room. They didn't try and put me in some camp for some kind of conversion therapy. No, they let me live my life. And I appreciate that so very much. So I'm happy that I have and had that positivity in my life. Because a lot of people that are bisexual make very rash and dangerous decisions because they don't know what's going on. Because it is a lot. You like a lot. You feel sometimes greedy. You like men. You like women. And almost, any variation. And like I said, almost. I don't like it all. But again, we got other episodes. We're going to get into that. And here's what it means to be bisexual to me. It means that I like femininity and I like masculinity. And from time to time, that can come from a female or a male. And then from time to time, I like when those two mash up. But it means that I like it all. It is what it is. There's no percentage of what I like. There's no shock therapy that's going to change my mind. There's no amount of friends that I'm going to lose that either is going to change my mind. But to me, being bisexual means that I like more than one gender. I like male, female, and some of the stuff in between. And also that I'm just going to live my life and be happy. And understand that there's going to be pockets of resistance throughout the rest of my life. And guess what? I'm fine with that. Because that means that I will be able to live my life, hopefully peacefully. And if you have friends that are in the LGBTQ community, let me tell you something. The best way to support your friends is to keep living your life. Let them live their lives. Don't throw out slick and sly comments. Don't be rude just to be rude. Support them by being there for them. If it's not your thing, hey, you don't have to go to any festivals or parades, but you can still be there for your friend or friends or whoever or however it may be. But understand this. Everybody's got some type of shit going on in their lives, and they don't need any extra. And we can all stand to mind our own business. So maybe if you have friends that are a little different, be their friend, be there for them, and just don't be a piece of shit about it. And I want to say something about my friends, that they've been positive towards me through this whole journey. And that's what honestly helped me and pushed me to make sure that I put the time and the effort into this podcast. So I thank you for that. I thank you so very much for that because we are going to have fun. And before I go, what I just did was fun. I'm not going to lie. I really, really, really waited to the last second to do this first episode. I was stressed. I was worried. I was nervous. I had it all going on. But something said, Charles, you got to make this happen. And I'm so glad that I did. And I'm so glad you're here. And now we've got 21 more episodes. Get ready because you're going to learn a lot. So thank you for joining me. And I am glad that I have made a new friend, and so have you, in Charles Rome. So I'll see you next Friday. And throughout the week, I'll post stuff on Facebook, Instagram. I might throw a couple things out on TikTok. But I'll do some posting during the week there. And every Friday, you'll get this new episode. So I'm out of here. Y'all have fun. Thank you for joining me. Be safe. And I will see you next Friday.